Robokill is an action twin-stick shooter developed by Rock Solid Arcade in 2009. The game is a premium flash game, but since Rock Solid Arcade is now gone, there is no way you can buy it legally. If you want to play it, you can play it on Flashpoint, where everything is unlocked. For now, I will talk about Robokill 2. You'll soon know why. Your ship is heavily damaged and must surface on a Mars station called Leviathan 5. In there, you fight aliens and try to repair your ship so you can get to fuck off Mars. The main menu music and the level up rock song sounds great. But in the game, it's weird that it doesn't have any background music. Most of the time, it's just silence. Seriously, what's up with flash games and creepy ambient music? The sound effects aren't that bad, but it's also not that good either. It's in that okay zone. For a flash game made in 2009, this looks very good, considering most flash games at the time looks like this. The environment looks like a typical space colony base, but some of the backdrops are really great. This is the cargo bay area where they load stuff into the ship. And this looks like a place where someone is about to join the dark side. The special effects in this game are fantastic. Examples of these are killing aliens, burst them into a bloody mist, and with robotic enemies exploding, sending metal parts flying everywhere. Bullets hitting a wall or an obstacle will ricochet the bullet off. The mess you did in that room won't get cleaned. So if you went to a room you just fought in, you can see the war that took place in it, with craters, blood, and metal junk lying around. It's a great sight to see. You can even see the weapon recoiling when you fire it. Neat. However, because of these effects, it can be very laggy at times, especially in a big fight. You can turn down the effect details on the settings if this bugs you. It plays like most twin-stick shooters, where you run and shoot enemies. You can equip up to 4 weapons at the same time. Weapons have a great variety, from miniguns, shotguns, lasers, to a swarm missile launcher. You can probably guess what is my favorite weapon. Some weapons have a rarity to it. You can get these by buying it from the shop or getting lucky with the drops. Rarity gives your weapon additional traits like blast fire rate, bullet speed, 2 knockback, and freeze. Uncommon rarity gives you 1 additional trait, while rare rarity gives you 2 or more traits. Getting a weapon with a good rarity attribute can make your game much easier. Mixing and matching different weapon combinations can be fun. Like this setup I have. The shotguns both have freeze and knockback, so I use this to slow down the enemies, while I use a grenade launcher and a laser gun to deal damage. The shield serves as your health. This doesn't automatically regenerate, but there are ways to heal up. You can use shields dropped by enemies. You can use the emergency health kit if you are in a critical condition. But if you really want to regen your shield, you can use a shield regenerator. Leveling up in this game is easy. You kill enemies and you get XP. Leveling up gives you plus shield, plus damage, and at certain levels, you can unlock new weapons. You can farm XP from an alien spawner, but spawners have a set amount of aliens they can spawn until it doesn't work anymore. This game also has active and passive items. There are active items from invulnerability shield to an item magnet to stealth mines to attack drones and more. Stealth mine is my favorite item because you can do this. For the passive, you have the shield regenerators, frontal armor, and loot increasing items. There are other passives, but this is what you'll be using most of the time. You can use and combine actives together to make a good synergy. For example, you can activate the active shield and run up to an enemy, then place a proxy mine. Because you can change items on the fly, you can abuse this by letting the passives charge up and putting them back in your inventory. Then, if you need them, just switch items, activate, then switch again. I haven't tried this yet, but I think you can have a dozen active shields and keep changing when the item is on cooldown. When you die, you lose some money and the enemies will reclaim some rooms. It's not that bad of a punishment until you get stuck clearing a room. Then it can be annoying to clear all those rooms again. So it's great to plan out and think of different ways to clear those hard rooms. The enemies you will fight have a good variety to them. A soldier that throws grenades at you behind cover. A big guy that will jump at you if you're close. With the right room layout, enemy placement, and enemy combination, they can be very challenging to fight. So if you're not careful, they can overrun you easily. Being aware of what each enemy does and their location is the key to win some rooms. However, there are some issues. Their AI, it might sometimes break. Some of the enemies' pathfinding might break, making them run into the same obstacle over and over again. This mostly happens when there are a large amount of them, so my guess is it's something related to how pathfinding works in conjunction with other enemies. They just keep pushing each other, changing the pathfinding, and thus the pathfinding keeps thinking. Thankfully, this doesn't happen that often. Your greatest enemy is the pits. Falling into one will result in an instant death, so being aware of your surroundings is vital to survive. Some rooms, however, have enemies free-firing at you, so in those occasions, just use the active shield when you enter the room. When exploring some rooms, there are ways that are blocked with the corresponding key type. There are 3 types of keys in this game. First, the blue key. It can open rooms that will lead to a bunch of money or a way to get the other colored keys. Blue keys are found in normal rooms. Next is the yellow key or the treasure key. This is used in treasure rooms that contain a lot of money. To obtain one, you can get it inside a blue key room or in a secret underground level. Finally, the red key. It is used to get inside the objective room. So, you can't just run straight to the objective and finish it. You can get them behind a blue door room. Some of the rooms can feel repetitive. Most of the enemies you'll fight will run at you, and the game likes to use them with the enemy spawner. So after fighting a hard enemy, you'll spend most of the time camping and farming XP from the spawner until it runs out of monsters to spawn. You could just blow it up, but who doesn't want free XP? I think the way to fix this is by having the spawner have a set amount of XP, and each enemy it spawns subtracts its XP equal to the enemy's XP it just spawned. That means that if you destroy it, even without the spawner running out of spawns, you can still get the same amount of XP. In contrast, if you camp the spawner, killing all the enemies and wasting time, well, Robokill 2 is a great game. Then, how about the first game? Well, Robokill 1 has a lot of problems. First, look at this map. It's too big. Yeah, you can just beeline and complete the objective. Because in this game, you can open the mission objective room using the normal blue key instead of the red keys, where in Robokill 2 you actually need to carefully use the blue key to find the red key. But what's the point of a big map when exploring the map gives you nothing other than money and XP without the fun part of finding the keys and the secret rooms? The room layout feels the same, and that doesn't happen sometimes. It happens all the time. It doesn't help the fact that the number of unique enemies here are low. When you go to the later stages, it's still the same enemies, but with a different color and a higher HP. To their credit, the last few missions gives you more challenging enemies to fight, but this won't save the game from how boring this is. The weapons are also limited, with only having like 7 different weapon variants, and most of them will be useless because the difference between them is night and day. Why use a plasma gun that bounces off walls when you can use a laser that fires through an obstacle and deals much better damage than the plasma gun? This game also doesn't have any active items, but you can equip up to 4 passive items. The fun of using active items is not here. Robokill 1 is a bad, monotonous, boring, and repetitive game. This is why I always remember playing Robokill 2. My brain just simply wanted to forget how bad the first game was. But it's great to see the developers learning what made Robokill 1 bad and how they fixed it in the sequel. It's kind of sad to know the developers of this game filed a bankruptcy. There is a lot of potential to this game that I want to dream about. I think it could become a cult classic. Sadly, this didn't happen, but it was just simply forgotten. Revisiting this game again was fun. I really had a blast playing this again. This is one of my favorite Flash games, and the game still holds up. There are things that needs improvement, like the lag, the difficulty, the pathfinding AI, addition of background music, the boss fight, and more. I really recommend trying out this game. After all, it's a free game, and it will run on your machine without any problems. This is only for the second game. For the first game, I don't really recommend it because of how bad it is. I guess if you're a super fan of the game, sure, you can play it. But if you only have the time for one game, then it's easily Robokill 2. Thanks for watching. This is my first time writing a video game review video, so my subjective writing skills are still bad. But I hope that you enjoyed this. I have linked the Flashpoint in the description, where you can download the game in their launcher. For the next review video, I think I'll cover an old third-person shooter with a commanding mechanic, or a shitpost review video about an old PopCap game, or something entirely different. We will see. I am also taking video idea suggestions from video games. I can cover 2 weird facts and historical stories, you know. Please let me know in the comments below. See ya, and have a nice day.